First contact. The stars above Elysium 7 shimmered peacefully as they had for the 5 years since the colony was established. With over 30,000 souls, it was humanity's farthest outpost, a symbol of our expansion and determination to explore the cosmos. Dr. Elena Reyes stood on her balcony watching the twin moons rise, unaware that tonight would be the last time anyone would see this view. Dr. Reyes, the anomaly readings have increased again, her assistant called from inside. Elena sighed and turned away from the moons. For 3 nights, their sensors had detected strange energy fluctuations at the edge of the system. Show me. The holographic display showed ripples of energy unlike anything their instruments had been calibrated to measure. It's not matching any known signature, her assistant said. Send the data to Earth, Elena replied. And alert security, just in. The lights flickered. Then darkness fell. Not just electrical darkness. Every light in the colony went out simultaneously. The emergency systems, the backup generators, even handheld devices. And in that perfect darkness, they heard it. A sound like metal being dragged across stone, multiplied 1,000 times. Elena managed to send only 5 words before communications failed completely. We are not alone anymore. 3 days later, the UES Dauntless arrived at Elysium 7. Captain Sarah Chen stood rigid on the bridge as they approached the colony. Where are the lights? She whispered. No power signatures detected. Her tactical officer confirmed. No communications, no heat signatures. Take us in, Chen ordered. The landing team, led by Commander Jackson Wei, was prepared for a disaster zone. What they found was far worse. The colony was empty, not destroyed. Empty. Buildings stood intact but abandoned. No bodies, no blood, no signs of battle, just silence. It's like everyone just vanished. Lieutenant Kira Okafor said, her voice tight with tension as they walked through empty corridors. Wei held up his hand for silence as they approached the central command center. The doors were open, and inside, they found their first clue. The main display screen was cracked, but still functional. A message had been left behind, not written in any human language. Strange angular symbols glowed faintly. Run translation, Wei ordered. The AI worked for several minutes before producing a result. They hunt Bijians. Wei felt ice in his veins. This wasn't an attack, he said slowly. It was a harvest. Further investigation revealed more disturbing details. Security footage recovered from hardened memory cores showed shadows moving too fast for cameras to capture clearly. Blurry images of tall, skeletal figures with elongated limbs. Where they touched, matter simply ceased to exist. In the colony's laboratory, they found Dr. Reyes' final log, recorded as the attack began. They're not just killing, they're sampling, taking some alive. I don't think this is about resources or territory. The way they move, the way they play with security forces. This is sport to them. God help us. Admiral Helena Vasquez stood before the United Earth Defense Council, her face grim as the final reports from Elysium 7 were displayed. 30,000 people, she said flatly. Gone in less than an hour. No debris, no radiation signature, no conventional weapons were used. This was something new. Could it be the Arcturians? Asked a counselor. Or the Rigelian Collective? No, Vasquez replied. We've already consulted with our allies. They're just as concerned as we are. Whatever did this, they've never seen it before either. The room fell silent until General Marcus Steele spoke. We've been scanning the ancient warning beacons at the edge of known space. Most are millions of years old, left by civilizations long extinct. 3 hours ago, one activated. It's sending a message in over 4,000 languages. The translation is always the same. The Wraith have awakened. Hide if you can. The Wraith? A counselor asked. Dr. Amara Osai, the council's xenobiologist, stepped forward. We've found references in multiple ancient texts. The Wraith appear to be nomadic apex predators who hibernate for millennia, then awaken to hunt. They don't conquer or colonize. They hunt for sport, for the pleasure of it. They're described as being able to phase through solid matter, absorb energy, and collect specimens. How do we fight something like that? Someone asked. Admiral Vasquez straightened her shoulders. We activate the Phantom Division. Murmurs spread through the room. The Phantom Division was Earth's most secretive and specialized fighting force, created after the First Contact War to defend against existential threats. The Phantoms haven't been deployed in 15 years, Counselor Rodriguez objected. Then they're well rested, Vasquez replied coldly. Commander Aisha Khatri had been preparing for this day her entire career. As the leader of Phantom Division's Strike Team Alpha, she had trained to face the unknown and the unimaginable. But as she studied the footage from Elysium 7, even she felt the first stirrings of doubt. They move like nothing I've ever seen, said Lieutenant Darius Cross, the team's tactical specialist, as they reviewed the blurry images in their underground base beneath the Himalayas. That's because they're partially out of phase with our reality, replied Dr. Vikram Singh, their science officer. According to the ancient data we've recovered, the Wraith exist simultaneously in our dimension and another. It's what makes them so deadly. They can choose when to fully materialize. Then how do we kill them? Asked Sergeant Maria Rodriguez, loading her pulse rifle. That's what we're going to find out, Khatri said. We have intel that they've been spotted near the Europa outpost. We're going hunting. The 6 members of Strike Team Alpha boarded their prototype stealth ship, the Spectre. It was designed with experimental phase shift technology that would hopefully allow them to track and engage the Wraith. Remember, Khatri told her team as they prepared to jump, we're not just fighting to protect our colonies. We're gathering intelligence. Every scan, every observation could be the key to stopping them. Lieutenant Kai Chen, their pilot, initiated the jump sequence. Next stop, Europa. Europa's outpost, Jupiter's Hope, housed 500 researchers studying the Moon's subsurface ocean. When Strike Team Alpha arrived, the outpost was on high alert. We detected anomalous energy readings similar to those reported from Elysium 7, the outpost commander explained. We've evacuated all non-essential personnel to the emergency bunkers. Good, Khatri replied. Now we wait for them to take the bait. They didn't have to wait long. Just after Europa's night cycle began, the sensors detected multiple phase anomalies approaching the outpost. They're here, Dr. Singh whispered, watching the energy readings spike. Khatri activated her phase shift armor. Weapons hot. Remember the plan. We capture one if possible. Understanding is our best weapon. The lights flickered and died, just as they had on Elysium 7. But this time, humans were ready. As the first shadowy figure phased through the wall, Sergeant Rodriguez fired her modified pulse rifle, the specialized ammunition, designed to exist partially in the same phase state as the Wraith, found its mark. The creature emitted a high-pitched screech that made the team's comms crackle. It worked, Rodriguez shouted. 2 more Wraith materialized, moving with impossible speed. One slashed at Cross, its clawed hand passing through his armor, but leaving a freezing burn where it touched. Cross didn't hesitate. He deployed the experimental phase grenade, which created a localized field forcing everything within its radius to exist fully in normal space. Suddenly, the Wraith were solid, tall, skeletal beings with translucent gray skin and elongated limbs. Their faces were smooth except for vertical slits that opened to reveal rows of needle-like teeth. The fight was brutal but brief. The Wraith, unused to being vulnerable, fought with savage strength but little strategy. Within minutes, 2 lay dead, and the third was trapped in a phase field containment unit. As Khatri approached the captured Wraith, it made a sound, not of pain or anger, but something that chilled her more. It was laughing. Singh's translation software picked up fragments of meaning. Worthy, challenge. The great hunt begins. What does that mean? Cross demanded. The wraith's vertical mouth slit formed what might have been a smile. Others. Coming. Many. We hunt. Strong prey. You. Strongest in cycles. Katri felt a cold realization. This wasn't an invasion, she said. These were scouts. They're testing us. Why? Rodriguez asked. Sport, replied Singh, his face grim. The ancient texts were right. They hunt species they consider worthy opponents, and we just proved ourselves worthy. The captured wraith made another sound, a high-pitched series of clicks and whistles. Singh's eyes widened as he read the translation. It's sending a signal, he said. I think it's calling the others. The wraith looked directly at Katri, its eyes like black holes. Hunt begins now. Back on Earth, Admiral Vasquez received Strike Team Alpha's report with grim satisfaction. So they can be killed, she said. But at what cost? General Steele asked. If these were just scouts, and they're calling reinforcements, then we prepare, Vasquez replied firmly. We have something the Wraith don't expect. Experience fighting for our survival. Humanity has faced extinction before and prevailed. As she spoke, alerts began coming in from the outer colonies. Energy anomalies were appearing all across human space, larger, stronger, and more numerous than before. In the secure holding facility where the captured wraith was being studied, Dr. Singh made a disturbing discovery. The creature wasn't just communicating with others of its kind, it was changing, adapting to the containment field. It's learning from us, he told Katri, evolving in response to our technology. Katri watched the wraith through the containment field. It stared back, unblinking. Tell Admiral Vasquez, she said. The hunt has begun, but this time, we're not going to be the prey. We're going to show these things what happens when you hunt humans. As if in response, the wraith made that chilling laughing sound again, but Katri didn't flinch. Humanity had never backed down from a fight for survival, and they weren't about to start now. Across the solar system, a silent alarm spread. Humanity prepared for war against the greatest predators the galaxy had ever known. But unlike the countless species that had fallen before them, humans had one advantage. They understood what it meant to be hunters too. The hunters hunted. Within 3 days of the Europan encounter, 17 human colonies went dark. Not all were completely harvested like Elysium Sun. Some managed partial evacuations, sending desperate messages and valuable data before falling silent. The pattern was always the same. Energy systems failed, communications cut out, and the wraith appeared, moving like shadows through solid matter. But humanity was adapting quickly. Admiral Vasquez stood in the Global Defense Command Center beneath Geneva, watching as reports flooded in from across human space. The Arcturians have offered their phase-stabilizing technology, reported her aide. The Rigelian Collective is sending ships to help evacuate our outer colonies. And what of the alliance of elder races? Vasquez asked. Her aide's expression tightened. They've withdrawn behind their borders. They say they've survived previous wraith awakenings by hiding. Cowards, Vasquez muttered, then turned to the holographic display showing the deployment of Earth's defenses. Status of Operation Ghostbuster. General Steele couldn't help but smile slightly at the operation name, suggested by a junior officer who'd been reprimanded but secretly commended by Vasquez herself. Phase shift disruptors are being deployed to all major population centers. The Phantom Division has 6 teams ready for deployment, with specialized weapons based on what we learned from the Europa encounter. And the captured specimen. Dr. Singh reports that it's changing, adapting its physiology to resist our containment methods. He believes they have an accelerated evolutionary response. They physically adapt to overcome challenges. Vasquez nodded grimly, which explains why they hunt. Not just for sport, but to evolve. Each new prey species presents new challenges, forcing them to adapt and become stronger. There's more, Steele said quietly. We've decrypted more of the ancient warning beacons. The Wraith don't just hibernate between hunting cycles. They consume the genetic material of their prey, incorporating useful traits into their own genome. Those that were able to harvest Elysium-7, they've likely already analyzed human DNA. So they're not just hunters, Vasquez said. They're genetic vampires. Which makes what Commander Caftry is proposing all the more risky. Steele handed her a datapad. Vasquez read Caftry's plan and felt a chill run down her spine. She wants to take the fight to them. We don't even know where they come from. The captured Wraith might. Dr. Singh thinks he can extract the information without killing it. Vasquez stared at the plan for a long moment. Authorize it, she finally said. But make it clear, this is reconnaissance, not a suicide mission. I want Caftry and her team back alive. In the secure lab beneath Mount Cheyenne, Dr. Singh prepared for what might be the most dangerous interrogation in human history. The captured Wraith watched him from within its containment field, unblinking and unnervingly still. We've modified the phase field to allow limited neural scanning, he explained to Commander Caftry, who stood beside him. But there's a risk. To read its thoughts, we have to synchronize partially with its consciousness. Will it be able to read yours? Caftry asked. Theoretically, no, but we're dealing with an entity that exists in multiple phases of reality. There are no guarantees. Lieutenant Cross checked his weapon. If that thing gets loose, it won't, Singh assured him, though his hands trembled slightly as he adjusted the equipment. The containment field has redundancies. Singh placed the neural interface on his own head, then activated the scanner. For several minutes, nothing happened. The Wraith remained motionless, its black eyes fixed on Singh's face. Then Singh gasped, his back arching in pain. Shut it down, Caftry ordered. No, Singh gritted through clenched teeth. I'm getting something. Coordinates, a star system, deep in the Perseus void. The Wraith's mouth slit opened in what might have been a smile, and it made that terrible laughing sound again. Singh ripped off the interface, blood trickling from his nose. I got it, he panted. But so did it. It knows what we're planning. The Wraith tilted its head, regarding them with what seemed like curiosity, or perhaps amusement. Then it spoke, using a combination of sounds and telepathic projection that the translation software struggled to interpret. We hunt. Worthy prey. You fight. Good. Makes better hunt. Better. Feeding. Why do you hunt? Caftry demanded. For food. Sport. The Wraith's response sent chills through everyone in the room. Evolution. We take best traits. Become better. Stronger. You humans. Interesting. Fight back. Most prey. Only run. We're not prey, Caftry said firmly. And we're going to prove it. The Wraith made that chilling laugh again. Many say this. All become food. All make us stronger. As they left the containment area, Cross spoke quietly to Caftry. It was toying with us. It wanted us to know where they come from. Of course it did, Caftry replied. It's a challenge. They want us to come to them. It's part of the hunt. Then we're walking into a trap. Caftry's smile was cold. Sometimes, Lieutenant, the best way to catch a predator is to let it think you're the prey. The UES Phantom, the most advanced stealth vessel in Earth's fleet, moved silently through the Perseus void, a region of space known for strange gravitational anomalies and the mysterious disappearance of several exploration missions over the centuries. Strike Team Alpha, now expanded to 12 members with specialists from various fields, prepared for what might be a one-way mission. Their target, a rogue planetoid in a star system with no name, only coordinates extracted from the Wraith's mind. We're approaching the outer boundary, Lieutenant Chen reported from the pilot's seat. No signs of detection yet. Commander Caftry studied the sensor readings with a frown. That can't be right. The planet shows no technology, no energy signatures. It looks dead. Perfect camouflage for a species that hibernates for millennia, Dr. Singh said. They don't need permanent structures or technology as we understand it. They exist partially in another dimension. Sergeant Rodriguez adjusted her phase shift armor. So how do we find them? We don't, Chatri replied. We let them find us. The plan was audacious to the point of insanity. The Phantom would land on the planetoid, deploying specialized sensors designed to detect phase anomalies. Once they located the Wraith hibernation chambers, they would deploy a new weapon, a phase-lock bomb that would force the Wraith fully into normal space, making them vulnerable. But as they entered orbit around the dark planetoid, something unexpected happened. Their sensors detected a massive energy surge from the surface. They're waking up, Singh said in horror. All of them. Thermal scans showed thousands, perhaps millions, of energy signatures activating across the planet's surface. They knew we were coming, Cross said grimly. Chatri made a split-second decision. New plan. Full stealth mode. We're not landing. We're bombing. Deploy all phase-lock warheads on the largest concentration of signatures. Chen looked shocked. But Admiral Vasquez said, "This isn't reconnaissance anymore, Lieutenant. It's survival. We can't let these things reach Earth." The Phantom moved into position, its stealth systems straining to keep them undetected. But just as they prepared to launch, a massive energy wave erupted from the planet's surface. Evasive maneuvers, Chatri shouted, but it was too late. The wave washed over the ship, shutting down all systems. As emergency power flickered on, the sensors showed multiple contacts approaching rapidly. "They're coming for us," Rodriguez said, checking her weapon. "Let them come," Chatri replied. "We still have the phase-lock bomb. If we can't destroy their hibernation chambers, we'll take out as many as we can here." As the first Wraith began phasing through the hull, Strike Team Alpha moved into defensive positions. This time, they were prepared. Their weapons had been modified based on what they'd learned from the Europa encounter, designed to disrupt the Wraith's phase-shifting abilities. The battle was fierce. The Wraith moved like liquid shadows, their elongated limbs ending in claws that could pass through armor to freeze the flesh beneath. But the phase disruption ammunition found its mark, forcing them temporarily into normal space where they could be killed. "There are too many," Cross shouted as he emptied another clip into a Wraith that had nearly decapitated Rodriguez. Chatri knew he was right. For every Wraith they killed, 3 more appeared. The ship was being overrun. "Singh," she called. "The bomb." Dr. Singh was crouched behind a console, working frantically to arm the phase-lock bomb. "Almost ready. But at this range, it will destroy us too. Can you modify it?" Chatri asked, firing her pistol at a Wraith that was crawling along the ceiling. "Make it directional instead of omnidirectional." Singh's eyes widened. Yes, I think so. But I need time." "You've got 5 minutes," Chatri said, then switched to the team channel. "Everyone fall back to the engine room." Defensive perimeter around Singh. As the team retreated, Chatri made another call, one she'd hoped to avoid. She activated the ship's quantum entanglement communicator, a direct line to Admiral Vasquez that couldn't be intercepted. "Admiral, this is Chatri. The Wraith homeworld is fully active. Millions of signatures. They're waking up, and they're coming for us. For all of us." Vasquez's voice was steady despite the gravity of the news. "Understood, Commander. Can you complete your mission?" "We're trying, but there are complications. If we fail," Chatri took a deep breath. "Implement Protocol Omega. The coordinates are in my final report." There was a brief silence. Protocol Omega was the last resort, a concentrated bombardment with weapons that could destabilize a star, causing it to go supernova. "Confirmed, Commander," Vasquez finally replied. "But I expect to see you back here for debriefing." "I'll do my best, Admiral." In the engine room, Singh worked frantically to modify the phase-lock bomb while the rest of the team held off the Wraith. Their ammunition was running low, and the Wraith were adapting to their tactics, moving in patterns that were harder to predict. "Almost there," Singh said, sweat pouring down his face as he reconfigured the device. A Wraith phased through the floor directly beneath him. Before anyone could react, it grabbed Singh's leg, its touch instantly freezing his flesh through the armor. Singh screamed but didn't stop working. Crossfired a phase disruptor round directly into the Wraith's head, killing it instantly. "Singh, I'm okay," Singh gasped, though his leg was badly injured. "It's done. The bomb is ready." Khatri took the device, now shaped like a directional cone rather than a sphere. "How do we deploy it?" "It needs to be taken to the bridge," Singh explained. "Aim directly at the planet's surface. The effect will cascade through their hibernation network." Khatri nodded. "Chen, get the engines back online. Everyone else, we're going back to the bridge." The fight back to the bridge was desperate. 3 more team members fell to the Wraith's attacks, but they made it, securing the area long enough for Khatri to position the device. "Ready?" she asked Chen, who had managed to restore partial power. "Engines at 30%. It'll have to do." "On my mark, maximum thrust away from the planet. 3, 2, 1. Mark." As the Phantom struggled to pull away from the planetoid, Khatri activated the phase lock bomb. A brilliant blue-white beam shot out, striking the planet's surface. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the planetoid began to glow. The effect spread like a wave across its surface, a forced phase shift that brought everything partially existing in other dimensions fully into normal space. The Wraith on the ship screamed, a sound so high-pitched it made blood trickle from the humans' ears. They collapsed, their bodies convulsing as they were forced fully into a dimension they were never meant to completely inhabit. On the planet below, millions of Wraith experienced the same fate. The hibernation chambers, designed to keep them partially out of phase, failed catastrophically. "It's working," Singh shouted, watching the sensor readings. "Their biological systems can't handle full manifestation in our dimension." The planetoid's surface was now rippling with energy discharges as the Wraith's phase-shifting physiology destabilized. The ship's sensors detected massive geological instability. The planet itself was breaking apart. "Get us out of here," Khatri ordered. Chen pushed the damaged engines to their limit, and the Phantom pulled away just as the planetoid began to tear itself apart, releasing energy waves that would have destroyed the ship had they been any closer. As they accelerated to a safe distance, Khatri watched the planetoid's destruction on the view screen. A race that had terrorized the galaxy for millions of years, hunting countless species to extinction, was being undone by their own evolutionary adaptation. Their partial existence in another dimension had become their greatest weakness. "Send a message to Admiral Vasquez," she said quietly. "Mission accomplished. The hunters have been hunted." 3 months later, Commander Khatri stood at attention in the United Earth Defense Council chamber as Admiral Vasquez pinned a medal to her uniform. For exceptional courage and strategic brilliance in the face of an existential threat, Vasquez announced, "Commander Khatri and Strike Team Alpha have secured humanity's future and changed the balance of power in our galaxy." The clapping was thunderous, but Khatri's mind was on the cost. 4 of her team hadn't returned, and Dr. Singh would never walk unassisted again due to his injuries. After the ceremony, Vasquez took Khatri aside. "The Alliance of Elder Races has sent a diplomatic delegation," she said. "It seems they're impressed that we did what they never could, confronted the Wraith and won." "We got lucky," Khatri replied. "If Singh hadn't been able to modify that bomb, it wasn't luck," Vasquez said firmly. "It was human ingenuity, courage, and our refusal to be prey. The Elder Races hid for millennia. We faced the threat head-on. And the captured Wraith, dead. When the phase lock bomb detonated, it affected all Wraith in our dimension. Its body is being studied, carefully, to ensure there are no more surprises." Khatri nodded, feeling a weight lift from her shoulders. "So it's over." This threat is, Vasquez agreed. But the galaxy just noticed us in a big way. The elder races are reassessing their view of humanity. Some are afraid, some are impressed, but none will ignore us now. As if to emphasize her point, a message came through on Vasquez's comm unit. After listening briefly, her expression became solemn. "What is it?" Katri asked. "A transmission from deep space, aimed specifically at Earth. It was sent after news of the Wraith's destruction spread." "What does it say?" Vasquez showed her the translation. "Worthy adversaries found. The great game continues." Katri felt a chill. "Another threat. Another challenge," Vasquez replied. "But whatever's out there, they should remember one thing. The deadliest predators in the universe just made one mistake." "What's that?" Vasquez smiled grimly. "They attacked humans, and we don't take kindly to being hunted." As they looked out at the stars through the council chamber's massive window, Katri felt a strange mix of dread and pride. Humanity had faced its greatest threat and emerged victorious. Whatever came next, they would be ready. In the vastness of space, word was spreading from system to system, planet to planet. A new force had emerged, one that had done the impossible, turned the greatest hunters in the galaxy into the hunted. Humanity had announced its presence to the cosmos not with diplomacy or trade, but by defeating a terror that had stalked the stars since before most civilizations were born. The message was clear. Humans were not prey. They were hunters too, and they were just getting started.